Even though 5 years may seem like a long time to wait in an adoption process, I have represented many couples who have waited many years and spent a lot of money, and every one of them has told me that the wait was worth it.
We had an agency on the phone tell me it was the dumbest thing that I was doing staying in Ethiopia. He said, "You're never going to get a kid out of here. They're shutting the country down. I'm going to Ethiopia. My son will come from there, and he is coming from there. So when we get the call, we're going to go get him."
Come inside, Daddy's on his way. All right, go clean up. Hey.
Hey, Mama, I'm pulling in the neighborhood.
Okay, love you. I got supper almost ready.
Okay, I love you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Roger and I prayed separately and we prayed together, and the Lord gave him a very solid word out of the book of Ruth and the Bible that we were to adopt.
I thought it was Taco Tuesday.
We don't have any, it's not Tuesday, first of all, and we didn't have enough meat.
So instead, it's...
Chicken.
How was your day?
It was good.
After 5 years, why wouldn't we have stopped? God told us to. He made it very clear in his word for me and our family it was our call to adopt. It wasn't like we signed up for it willingly. We didn't go chasing it down. I don't ever remember knowing somebody adopted when growing up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who wants to serve?
On that day, thank you for this food. I pray that you would keep Nathaniel safe. I pray that as we finish the day off, we will serve you. In Jesus' name, amen.
We knew going in that it was going to cost about $30,000 to adopt. We weren't afraid of not having enough room in our house. We weren't afraid of not having enough clothes, or it wasn't anything like that. For us, the hardest part was how are we going to pay for this? And so we just trusted the Lord, and He's provided every penny. We haven't borrowed any money. We haven't charged anything on a credit card. People have given. The Lord funds what He favors, and He favors adoption. We have gone through a lot the past 5 years. We knew that this would not be easy. We knew that it would not happen in a year, but we certainly did not think it would take 5+ years. And so when we applied with our original agency, we went through all the paperwork, we got on the wait list, we got all the way to our number 1 spot, and they lost their operating license in Ethiopia. And so we had to make a decision whether or not to change countries.
We had an agency on the phone tell me it was the dumbest thing that I was doing staying in Ethiopia. He said, "You're never going to get a kid out of here. They're shutting the country down, and your child will not come from here. You need to move." God said, "Ethiopia, this is where your child will come from." So I just had to decide, even in the face of an agency saying it's the dumbest decision you'll ever make to stay here, I'm staying.
And so we made the decision to change agencies and start completely over. And so that's been part of why it's taken us so long. Like, it's fixing to be the rainy season in Ethiopia, and so the courts close. And so for 2 months, nothing happens just because it's raining over there and the roads are too hard to travel to court. So it's been a roller coaster of emotions.
I mean, we've had to take our fingerprints. Like, they haven't changed, but we've had to take our fingerprints, like, it seems every year, and I think we have to do them again. If anybody would have told me 5 years ago that this is what it would look like, I don't know how many people would truly sign up for it. There's There's nothing that I've done to be deserving of going through this process of adoption or to have the blessings that we've been given through this process. It's changed me of how I see God. It's changed me of how I see my relationship with God. Sometimes, especially in our American culture, we think that we work things up or that we did some stuff on our own. And after 5 years of not being able to take credit for anything, you kind of realize where you are. If you have the means, you have the opportunity, you have the extra space, why wouldn't you? Like, what would be holding you back? A new boat, more clothes, bigger house, that trip to Disney, whatever it is. That's what's holding you back. You're thinking about self, your material needs, and what you want, other than a kid who they just want a family. That's all they want. Why wouldn't you adopt? Smile.
When I first saw his picture, I covered my mouth like this. And it took my breath away because he had a lot of light in his eyes. And sometimes when you see pictures of orphan children, they are sad. And he has these deep dimples and his eyes are just so bright. And I just fell in love with him the first time I saw him.
You wanted to be excited, but at the same time, with everything that happened in the past, you were like, is it really our son? Is it truly our son? Or is something going to pop up and not let it happen? But it was just instant the moment I saw him. You just know, like, that's your son. It's right there in front of you. And it's just a mixed bag of emotions. You're happy, you're sad, you're excited, you're nervous. You're angry sometimes because you're like, why'd I have to wait so long for this? But to love somebody on another continent like they're your own with never even seeing them face to face in person, it's life-changing.
We're about to go play with the chickens. The black one and Rachel and the two other ones don't like anybody.
They're so excited, but they don't understand really where he's been and what he's went through. I mean, even all the stuff we tell them, it's not really enough to paint a good picture.
I feel like they're going to smother him with love, and I think they're just as ready for him as I am.
I think they're going to try to get him to do everything that they're doing. Eat this, watch this, read this, play that. It's going to be evident that one of these things looks different. One of these things is not like the other. But if you look all three of our boys, none of them look the same already. I've walked into many places and they've asked, are you babysitting? I'm like, no, these are my kids. Yes, he won't go to the same barber. Yes, there are culture things that are different that we're gonna have to embrace and show him that we understand and allow him to embrace. He will be Ethiopian. Their cultures are different. Their traditions are different. Their holidays are different. And what I want to make sure I do is I want to respect his heritage and his culture, not just go, you have to live the African American culture, because that's not who he is. Where he is from is Ethiopia. So those are the things that we have to more and more celebrate. They do coffee ceremonies. I don't drink coffee, but I'm going to figure it out.
Malachi sleeps on the top and Elam sleeps on the bottom, and this is where number 4 will sleep. Sometimes I will lay down in this bed and pray for him, and it sounds crazy, but sometimes I'll just pretend like he's already here, and that's how the Lord is already connected my heart to his, is because I pray for him a lot. And so when I lay down with them at night, we pray for him, and then sometimes I'll just lay down on his bed and pray for him too. I just love him. I'm just ready to feel the weight of him, and I'm ready to hold him and scratch his back at night, and I'm ready to be there when he hurts himself, and I'm ready to play ball with him, and I'm ready to teach him who Jesus is, and I'm ready to do all the things with him that I do with my boys.
Don't be loving it.
You don't do that Terry stuff. Garbage. Dinger.
I want him to experience everything that my boys have, whether it's just a good, nice bed to sleep in, or whether it's the love of a family, because he's never had a family. He's never had siblings. He's never had a mom. He's never had a dad. The mama in me is ready to protect him and teach him things and love him and just eat him. Sorry.
There we go. I cannot wait for Nighty to get here.
From everything I've seen with adoption, I'm most excited that he's going to have hope. He's sat somewhere for so long, and in the back of his head, I know he had to think, there's going to come a day where I'm going to age out of here, and if nobody comes and gets me, what hope do I have? I'm going to Ethiopia. My son will come from there, and he is coming from there. So when we get the call, we're going to go get him.
Well, they've just had a lot of change in their government. There's a lot of unrest going on, a lot of protests. And so there'll be a little transition period of that new minister coming in and getting acquainted with just the office staff. And so it'll take a while, just a little delay. We've just gone through so much, just a lot of waiting, a lot of delays, a lot of changes, a lot of trials, and so when this kid gets here, it'll be a miracle.
Stay focused, stay aggressive, attack, attack, attack. Last game of the season. All three of my kids play soccer. They play baseball, they play football. I mean, if there's a ball involved, our family's involved. On his paperwork, one of the first things I remember seeing is he loves soccer, and we got videos of him playing soccer with older boys.
Hey, good job, Elam. Good job staying wide. Good job.
One of the biggest joys is getting to watch my own kids grow and be able to coach them. And sometimes you feel like there's just a missing piece when I look at my son who's in Ethiopia. The opportunity to see all of them on the field at the exact same time and watch them bond and grow together, not just if they win or they lose, but the teamwork, the camaraderie, the building, the memories. I remember my dad coaching me when I was a kid, and it's a very fond memory for me. There's such a joy watching your kids get it. That's like one of the joys of coaching is your son is trying something and trying something and trying something, and they never can get it. Then that moment they get it, you're there for them, and they blow up and explode out of joy, and they turn around and look at you, and you're right there. And that memory it's something that they will have as they go on in life, and it's something I'll never want to miss. I don't want to take for granted that I get an opportunity to coach. And hopefully when our son from Africa gets here, I can make those memories with him as well.
Shoot, Layla! Oh, man!
Don't worry about that.
Hey, great season.
Good job, guys.
Tell my mom you did. Family hug.
Family hug.
Family hug.
Cameron.
Kim and I have been friends for about 6 years. It's a lot of fun and we laugh a lot. Snack time. The first 3 or 4 years of our friendship, she had her photography business, and then just a few years ago I came on. We don't have to communicate a whole lot verbally. It's really easy to work together. When Kim told me that they were going to adopt, I was not really surprised.
At the point that our friendship began, they were just bringing home their first child from China. And adoption, it was never on my radar.
It was just a byproduct of us spending time together and them seeing what the Lord had done in our family.
This woman sent me a text, and they've just moved to Albany, and she works at Phoebe, and she's got twin 3-year-old kids.
Oh,
So cute.
how was that?
Show me how they turned out. Okay, let me see.
So cute. Look at the baby's face. But see how much better the light is with the flash? When they started the process to adopt, I had no idea that it would take this long.
That is so sweet. Let me see how it looked when you were shooting through
I was
the.
going to show you.
Oh, that's sweet.
They've had a long road the last several years. At times, it's been really difficult to watch her go through that. So, tell me the latest. It's an update.
Okay. So, all right. Well, they basically started a new government.
There are a lot of roadblocks to adoption in foreign countries. Their governments change, and when their governments change, the whole government changes.
Before courts closed for the rainy season, our agency got a lot of court dates, and so they were giving other agencies things. But I guess we just have to wait our turn for our agency to get more recommendations before we get court dates. So it could be,
And how many
Christmas.
families are waiting?
I think
Are
there's 15 now.
There are things that are going on that I want to fix to make her feel better, and there's nothing in the world I can do except just listen and pray and hold her hand and just walk her through it.
This has been the hardest part.
There are times when there's just no words. You don't have an answer.
I remember when you were waiting to travel. That was hard.
It is. It is, because you're trying to do daily life, but your brain is somewhere else all the time. I mean,
you pull up at Walmart and don't even know why you're there.
And remember I was in the Sonic drive-thru and I hit the car in front of me because I wasn't even paying attention. You're just kind of
In a fog.
in a fog. Yeah. You just want to put your hand, physically, you just want to put your hands on him.
And hear his voice. Like, I just want to hear his voice.
Yeah.
I just want to hear him talk.
You'll never get over it. You'll never get over it.
I don't know.
You'll never get over it.
I was sitting at my office and I was in the middle of about 3 conversations. And she called, so I just stopped it thinking I'll give her a call right back as soon as I get finished.
Please answer. Please answer, Roger. Please answer.
Then the phone rang again.
Call me.
She sent me a text, call me right now, and I could just tell that like something was serious.
Please answer. Please answer.
We got the call that we've been waiting for 5 years, that we have a court date.
We have a court date.
I didn't even have to hear what she said. I knew what she was saying. I could tell that we had received the call.
We have a court date. December.
leave, I just remember getting out the Christmas decorations thinking, I don't want to do this another year without him here. Like it's just time. Like it's just time for him to be here.
Oh, crap, we gotta go in a week. Like, in a week. Like, that's quick. That's really quick.
When it's time to go and get your child, there's just so much to do.
Well, when do we have to fly out?
We need to go ahead and pay bills.
We gotta do this, we gotta do this. Oh, I'll do this.
We gotta do laundry.
What are we doing with the kids?
Just so many things at one time, and I thought, who's gonna feed the chickens?
We've got 50 gazillion things to do.
Getting cash, making sure we had our passports and copies of our passports. We have got a lot of stuff to do today. We leave Friday. I was really thinking that it would be next year, and so I'm very not prepared, and so I have a list of stuff, and I'm sure that I will make several trips to Target or Walmart before the day is over.
What about this?
Pack for everybody, like pack for this kid going over here and this kid going over here.
Malachi, please look at all those shirts. And I've got your khakis and your jeans to wear for church. Okay. That's 9 days, 9 or 10 days, but you've got 12 pairs of pants.
Is that too much?
I think we're a little over on that one.
What can we not go over?
I thought it was like 42 or 62 in between those two numbers.
Well, we gotta get it right. We're gonna have to be dumping some stuff out. How much can it weigh?
We're good.
I finally get to see his face and hug him and love on him, but I've got to get things squared away here. And so I think when we sit down on the plane, I'll finally be able to just be ready.